What's up, everybody? Welcome to Theocracy with Theo Snodgrass. I am your host, Theo Snodgrass. Wherever you may be, thank you for making me a part of your day. Man, I am out here in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, coming to you live from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a fun town. I might add that to the intro, actually. We might do that. Yeah, still trying to figure out the identity of the show, gang. I want to after doing, 15 or so episodes, we've had some good ones, we've had some okay ones. Still trying to figure out the identity of the show. I think this is just going to be where I talk about whatever I happen to be thinking about in a given moment. I might just do it whatever. I don't even know if I'm going to do it with consistent times anymore. Because so here's the thing. So I started out initially doing a morning show because I was like, oh, people should have something to listen to in the morning. Doing a morning show fucking sucks. I hate doing a show in the morning, and I'm not sure if the audience is there for a morning show either. So I fucking hate doing a show in the morning. This is like not that fun. It's just not that fun to be up early and there's like birds chirping and stuff. It's not that fun. I don't enjoy it. I used to, not now. I don't know. I think maybe it's like living in the desert that kills it for you, because the wildlife out here is not as lit. I mean, it's lit, but it's like not as present. It's a totally different, biome. Yeah, this has been lit. I wanted to, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with people. I don't know. I live in Vegas, so I think that my experience for what people are like is like probably 80% more degenerate than what most people experience. So I don't know, man. I'm just what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, do people not feel fucking gross? Like, people should feel bad more. I don't think, I know we have people, like, people talk a lot in this culture about how do whatever you want and like feel good about it. I don't think that's a good rule. I'll be honest with you. Like, people should feel bad about how they are and should try to do better. And that doesn't happen if you don't point it out. It doesn't happen if you don't point out to people like, hey, what you're doing is gross and you should stop. Like, not all outfits are for every body type. And we used to understand that. We used to have, like, fat girls used to be way hotter when they didn't expose their midriffs. I'm sorry. I know that's like not. We used to have this idea of like dressing in a way that's flattering. And we've gotten rid of that because it's like rude to point it out. It's like, hey, no one likes looking at you. Please conceal yourself. And I know that, and it's like not even that, it's like behavior. It's like the stuff that people admit to openly on podcasts is crazy. It's insane. Like, the stuff, like, look, I talk about some stuff on my podcast where I do not always come out well. I totally get that. But I'm always doing it as some kind of like cautionary tale. I'm always trying to pull from my experiences to be entertaining or to maybe like educate the audience on something. Like, I think some of these women on podcasts, I think, are just, participating in a humiliation ritual of some kind that I don't know if it's kind of some kind of like social bonding thing or like what the fuck it is, but there are people who will just scream stuff into a microphone that you could not waterboard out of me. Like, never in 1,000 years would I cop to that. Like, bro, I didn't know that. I didn't know there were so many women who had trains ran on them by NBA players. I mean, I always suspected it. I always suspected that that's what NBA players were doing. But I was like, I didn't know, like, once you hear it from the women's perspective, it's like, oh man, wow. God, this is bad. This is bad. Now, by the way, the one thing I do like about the shameless society where people are just like screaming their fatherless behavior from the rooftops, it has really driven home the point of fathers. It's crazy though. I was on a podcast not too long ago, and I was like, "Hey, this is fatherless behavior. Fathers, your your role is important. Stay in your children's lives." And there was a woman on the podcast, and she was like, actually, both parents are important." I'm like, right, but this specific brand of a whoredom is fatherless behavior. No, she's like, I think it could be any parent. I'm like, it's weird to me that we're still having this discussion. It's weird to me that we still have to have this discussion with people. Like, I don't know. I guess I signed up for it, but so it's my fault, and I'm entering these discussions on purpose, like intentionally. So I can't be mad when I encounter like retarded people or people who think differently about it. But it's just like so obvious to me. It's just so obvious to me. Like anytime I encounter someone who's like anything is fine and whatever makes you happy and like that's not a way you would talk to anyone that you cared about. I wonder why. What I guess is like it's not. I understand. It's not like people not saying something. I think that bothers me. It's just like the people not feeling the shame. Like, why are you not embarrassed about how this is going for you? And this is not unique to women, by the way. It's just like, it's just like, I think people in general, why are you not more embarrassed for that? I think it's the public gooning that like trips me out, like the degree of like where is the fucking just decency? I can't be the one. I just feels weird to be in the position of like pleading for decency, you know. Um since I don't, I feel like I'm a normal person. I feel like I'm a normal person, but the world just got like 80% grosser since COVID. Or maybe I've changed and the world is the same. I don't know. It's just like gross everywhere. Is that just me? Like, I promise I'm building up to something. There's a point that I wanted to make with this. It's just fucking gross everywhere. It's just, I don't know. Maybe this is a Las Vegas thing. There's so many open air butt cheeks here. Like, just like everybody. Here's the thing. That's just like anybody could just like go, jiggle half naked on the street and fucking charge people for pictures. It's crazy. Like there's no filtering mechanism for that. There's no like management structure. There's no panel of judges being like, you are too fat to be naked on the sidewalk. It's just anybody. It's just whoever wants to do it. It's crazy. Like the chicks dudes will like pay for pictures of. I don't know, man. It just stop the public. If we could just stop the public gooning for a while, or just put like a moratorium. I'm calling for a complete and total shutdown on public gooning until we can figure out what the hell is going on. Bro, that's how I feel. I feel like it's just so much just gross shit everywhere, and I just want it to stop. And I don't it feels weird to be in that position, and I know I'm in the minority. I know that's what's frustrating to me. It's like, I'm like, hey, can we all just like endeavor to be a little bit less gross? And everybody's like, boo, no, go home. No one likes you. It's like, I don't know what to do with that. I feel like the fucking user settings of the world are just like, 80% more degenerate than let's check in with the chat. I'm tired of being sad. Greener anti-liberal friend of the show. How am I first? Because no one is fucking watching right now. That's why. Because no one cares that I'm doing this in the middle of the day at a normal time when I wouldn't normally do it. No one gives a shit except for the 5 people who give a shit, which happy you guys are here. I have the best audience on the internet. Saleem's been up since 4:30. Yeah. Did you enjoy it? Do you enjoy being up that early? I'm not, I was trying to, hang out with a comedian the other day, and I was trying to set up a morning meeting, and he was like, is there any way we could do something like later? I was like, hey, you want to do something at lunchtime? And he was like, you mean noon? That's my wake up time. So what you're calling lunchtime is what I call wake up time. So why don't we schedule something for later? And I was like, all right. And I'm starting to see the wisdom of that. I mean, look, I like early mornings as much as the next guy, but like doing a show in the morning is a pain in the ass. Like if I'm going to be up in the morning, I don't want to have anything to do. I want to just have that as like peacetime. Just like that's 100% my, like if I have to do a show first thing when I wake up, then first of all, I'm a victim. I don't have a lot of time to like change my mood at that point. So if I like wake up pissed off, I'm just doing a pissed off show today. That's just what I'm doing. And I don't want to do that. I want to have like time to like reset and get focused and get prepared. I think it's better. I think an early afternoon show, like a noon show, this might have to be a noon show, to be honest with you. I got to do something. So we'll see. Anyway, bring back shame. Thanks, Gal. Friend of the show. Good thought. Bring back good fathers and shame will follow due to them being disappointed in the behavior they display. Yeah, actually, that's true. Is like the absence of shame is actually just the absence of fathers, which is the absence of standards. And if we want to get like spiritual with it, it's the absence of a masculine containment, which feminine expression needs masculine containment to feel like safe and expressive and free. But yeah, and so it's just like so fathers checking out has had just like absolutely horrible detrimental impacts on society. We're gonna get to that too. I have more examples of the delusional shit that the algorithm is feeding to women. And it's because you got to understand, like when you're like talking to a woman, you're not like her read on reality is not the same as you guys aren't working off the same set of facts. Like that's important to remember. So if they say something that's just like completely like bizarre and weird, it's because of what the algorithm's feeding them. I'm telling you, dude, I see this stuff all the time. But anyway, what else we did? Wait, Gal and Selena, you guys love each other. All right, we know. Oh, hey, Vagabond is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah. Rather use shame instead of banning. Yeah, actually, that's kind of the point, because what people forget is they're like, shame is bad. And it's like, yeah, but the alternative is like using force. So it's an alternative to like laws or like banning. So basically taking like unilateral force, like in society, we'll say, right? You could shame people to not do something, or you can make that illegal. And if you make it illegal, then it's enforced by, men with guns, because it's a law now, right? Whereas shame is just enforced by like the disapproval of your peers. So if you can tolerate the disapproval of your peers, which some people can, then you can do whatever you want. But most people can't. Most people can't do it. So if you can use shame to like get people to act right, and then you don't have to make stuff illegal, which nobody wants, by the way. Everybody thinks that's a huge bummer. Like nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to make the laws, and nobody wants to enforce the laws. But like, okay, I'm going to pull up this. I have this Instagram video I wanted to show you guys.
Okay. Would you rather have me in a barn and you just made candy canes, so you decide to take the candy cane, put it through then you decide to eat it?
This woman is
Or would you
describing
rather be a chef at a
things that
known
happen in the porn
restaurant? So
books
you
she
put
reads.
me on your chef
So here's the thing.
table and put a cucumber in the pink and a peppermint candy cane in the steak.
What a combination. I guess a chef table. I don't really know about a barn.
Okay, so would you rather be that? Or would you rather have me tied up and you decide to put the handle of your cutting device in my peach? You know what my peach is?
Yeah.
In my peach.
Yeah.
And then proceed to hit it from behind, even though you know the pointy part.
Okay, I can't do this anymore. Anyway, the point is, so this woman is describing, anyway, this whole Instagram video, you can go fucking watch it if you want to. I don't want to watch it again. This is the shit that I subject myself for you people. This is, we're shaming Nate, Full Metal Nate, you're late to the party. We're shaming whores. So this is a woman who's describing scenes from her porn books, and not just like describing them like to her husband, and also describing them to a camera and then posting it on Instagram for the whole world to consume. And this is being met by just a ton of people who are like, oh, I've read that one. It was really good. I cannot imagine men bonding over porn in this way. I can't imagine men bonding over the porn. And what's crazy to me is that the women there's whole communities on the internet where women just like talk about what kind of porn they like and how great that porn is. And if you point it out to, they'll just like talk about it publicly. They'll just like read their porn on the bus, and they're just like open about it, which is completely uninhibited, discussing it openly, and they'll hide it under the pretense of I like to read, which is crazy. They're just like publicly gooning. In a way, if men were doing this, there would be a congressional committee dedicated to tearing it apart. It's just like, can you just shut the fuck up and not be disgusting, you grimy whore? But nobody says things like that. Nobody says things like that. And none of these women were fathered. I thought she was talking about a Saw plot with the pointy things. Yeah, that's another thing too. Another thing too is it's just so hard to respect women when you find out what arouses them sexually. Like, I hate to say that, but like once you find out about all this stuff, it's like, that's what you're into? No, you can't vote. Nope. We're just in it. No, it's crazy because for like centuries, I would say since the middle of the 20th century, we've had feminists bitching about how publishing is male dominated, and we've had a lack of women's voices, and that women have worthwhile contributions to literature. And now women completely dominate the publishing industry, both in deciding who gets published and in terms of writing. And the industry is just filled with pornography. So these were the great works of literature that women were withholding this whole time. I'm so glad these are added to the English canon now. Oh man, I can't believe we missed out on centuries of monster porn. God. Makes me wonder what Frankenstein was up to be honest with you. Makes me wonder. I'm just saying. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's crazy. I'm not saying all, all women are washed. What's up, Toasty? Friend of the channel. Toasty, what's up, girl? How you doing? Yeah. It's not good though. I don't know what's going on here. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know why this is like publicly. Are they just, part of me thinks that the reason people are so like openly disgusting like this is because they're absolutely like shit desperate for someone to shame them. By the way, this is a theory I toss around a lot, and I hope it's going to stick. I just want credit for it. I think one of the reasons you got so many women who are like into BDSM and getting like spanked and choked and stuff like that and getting tied up, I think a lot of those a lot of those acts look a lot like medieval punishments. Like the ball gag is 100% a scold's bridle. I don't care what you say, right? So I think that a lot of these women, they know they're out of pocket and they secretly crave societal punishment. I think that's why they're being so gross publicly, is because they're hoping someone will actually like shame them and correct them and be like, no, don't fucking do that. I think they feel unfathered and they're pushing back against the society to be like, to get it to come in and be like, no, fucking stop doing that. That's why they're so unpalatable. I really think that's what's going on. It's hard. We just like fucking try telling them that. A what bridle? Okay, this is a scold's bridle. Let me show you. Actually, let's see. I hope I can do a YouTube approved picture. So this is a medieval punish. This used to be a medieval punishment for gossiping. By the way, the top result on Google was scold's bridle for sale. So people are very much. Oh man. So people are still trying to get a hold of these apparently. Anyway, let's see if I can find, this is kind of a go away. Okay, this is a picture of one. Boop. So that's like an illustration of one. These were made out of like iron. So actually, let me move over here. There we go. That's what it is. So that used to be, that's a medieval punishment for like gossiping or talking shit about people. Like if you were like too much of a nag or a gossip, they would just slap one of those on you. Which is like gnarly. Of course, they also used to like execute people in the street. So, I mean, this was a different time in terms of like what punishments they thought were acceptable. I do think, and see, that's what I'm saying is like the fact that we've taken away shame is like, we used to do that. We used to do that. And now we can't even say, hey, don't do that. You can't even say to someone, hey, your behavior is suboptimal. You should improve it. You know what I hear a lot is like, you're a Christian. You're not supposed to judge. I'm like, you super are if you're doing it right. Actually, you're allowed to make qualitative distinctions between some behavior being better than other behavior. Yeah. Wow, it's crazy. Yeah, you have to, that's the thing is that it's okay. You know, sometimes like, okay, sometimes pure fear. This is something Nate is drawing attention to. We'll just get screeched at. It's like, yeah, but like sometimes it's important to tell people that their behavior sucks. Like that's important. It's actually important to get that feedback. Actually, if you don't get that kind of feedback from your peers, then you become kind of unpalatable to other people. You become poorly socialized if you don't get that feedback from your peers. It's like necessary. It's necessary to get that kind of feedback. Like you have to actually, that's important to know what you're fucking up so that you can improve. This is something I've noticed. Okay, so let's see. I had a video for this actually. Hold on, before I talk anymore. Let's see. This one's done. This one. Okay, hold on. Yep.
He wants, just doesn't want her.
But I don't want to listen to his part. I want to listen to the part right before. Okay, give me a second.
Woman is single in her 30s for any reason other than she values and loves herself.
Actually,
so no woman is single in her 30s for any reason other than that she values or loves herself. That is so important. That is so critical. That is so why did I show you this video? Okay, so this is some woman on some podcast making a podcast, presumably for a female audience. And so this is so important, I think, for guys to see. Because remember what she said. No woman in her 30s is single for any reason other than she loves herself. Okay. Now, think about that. What she's really saying is no woman in her 30s has ever done anything wrong to be single. Like, if you're single in your 30s, you're perfect. You're doing amazing, sweetie. That's the message that's being conveyed. So, something that's very different about men's and women's podcasts. Men's podcasts are usually telling their male audience that they suck and they're bad and they need to get better and they need to work on themselves. They need to improve themselves or no one will ever love them. That is a common theme in men's podcasts. Okay. And by the way, that's something men and women's podcasts agree on. Men's podcasts and women's podcasts both agree that men in general are subpar and need to step it up. Okay, they agree on that. Where they differ is women. That's where, because a men's podcast say women suck, and women's podcasts say men are amazing. Women are amazing. Women are perfect. Women never do anything wrong, and men are the whole problem. And that's a key difference, right? So that's where they don't actually disagree that much in terms of the way they talk about men. It's the way they talk about women that it differs. I think for men, it's hard to imagine because all of our podcasts are like, you suck and you need to get better. You should be at the gym right now. Why aren't you a millionaire? If you're not a millionaire by the time you're 25, you should just stick your face in a blender because you're done. You know, it's like, that's our podcast. And I think we think that like women are not listening to podcasts that tell them how to get better. Women's content is telling them they're great already. I saw this video. I couldn't dig it up for the show. I wish I could. I hope I see it again. It was a woman talking about, I noticed that a lot of men, like they have to do like challenges. They have to listen to David Goggins. They have to go prove that they're resilient by like doing hard things. I don't need to prove that I'm resilient. I just know I'm resilient. I just know. So I don't have to do anything hard ever because I just know I can do it because I'm so strong. It's like, that's a difference in the way that like men and women conceptualize reality. Okay. So men know that resilience is like a muscle. It's something you cultivate. You don't have it if you haven't tested it. Like, you don't actually know how resilient you are until it gets tested. So by intentionally engaging in resilience tests, you can increase your tolerance for difficult things. Sort of like resistance training. You can increase your tolerance for difficult things. But what she's doing is engaging in something we see women do a lot. It's called manifestation. Or she's just saying something to make it true, to try to give herself confidence that it's true. She's trying to make herself believe that it's true, or make herself feel like it's true, right? Like, okay, like something I say all the time on this show and my other show, Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass, that's at 11 o'clock on Saturday mornings. So, which I may also move that to the afternoon, is we're everything's in flux right now. Who knows what I'm doing? Anyway, something I say a lot is that I don't believe in myself. I have evidence. So I have a stack of things this high that I've already done, which shows me I can do hard things and I can handle difficult things. And nothing in front of me is going to be as hard as this. And if it's harder than this, then I'll figure it out. And I know I can figure it out because I already figured this out. You see what I'm saying? That's not like, I don't have to talk myself into being confident. I just know what I'm about. Right? That's different than what she's doing. And she's like saying men embracing challenges to test their resilience is somehow a sign of like weakness and insecurity. And she, the woman who literally never does anything hard, she's the truly secure one. And basically there's no, and you're like, well, how could she possibly think that? It's because there's nothing in her orbit that's contradicting her self-belief that is making her, everything is telling her she's awesome and wonderful all the time. And if she feels a moment of insecurity, she's just gaslighting herself. And if she feels a moment of self-doubt, then that's just internalized misogyny. And she's like, has magical unicorn powers and everything she does is perfect. And the reason she doesn't have a man yet is because the men around her are subpar. Like, and I think you gotta understand that when you interact with a woman and you're like, why is she like this? It's because of that, because she's spending time scrolling on the phone and that's the message that's coming at her. I think we forget about that. Like, you got to remember, like, that's her filter of reality is filtered through like girl boss feminism brainwashing. So that's like everything. So like all of them that you meet. And that's why, and then also like leftist propaganda, which is why they all support things that are degenerate, and none of them want to have children, and none of them want to get married, and all of them think men are garbage, and all of them are like super entitled. This is all like downstream of like brainwashing, because I'm seeing like more and more of this content because I keep like clicking on it and saving it, so it shows me more, and it's just like fucking horrible. But like when you see it, it's like, oh, okay. Like if your advice is like no woman is single in their 30s for any reason other than you love yourself, that's an insane thing to say. Okay, I say this. Look, I'm single in my 30s. I'm single in my 30s because I made choices earlier in life that made that a virtual certainty. That's what happened. It was not because I loved myself. It was because I loved slaying random pussy. And I did that for a little too long. And once you've been on that ride for a while, it's hard to get off. That's what happened. It's not because I loved myself too much. That's not the reason I'm single. I have no illusions about that. I made certain choices which made that a virtual certainty. That's what happened. Okay, so I am single because of my life choices. Let's see. Let's see what the chat is saying. Yeah. Let's see. Folks have a misunderstanding of the judging part of the Bible. Yeah, absolutely. See, what you're not supposed to do is call people out for stuff that you yourself are doing. That doesn't mean you can't make qualitative distinctions between behavior and say this behavior is worse than that behavior. And you all do also need to accept people who have fucked up and are ready to admit it, and are ready to, work towards bettering themselves, because we're all in that position to one degree or another. But you can absolutely make distinctions about some behavior being worse than others. Like that's a totally normal thing to do, and you have to do it. Actually, it's actually required. And the cool thing about it is God really lays out really well what behavior he thinks sucks and what behavior he thinks is good. If you do good behavior, good things happen. If you do shitty behavior, bad things happen generally. So that's you have to be able to make qualitative distinctions in order to do that. It's not just about being nice to people all the time. I think a lot of people have that. By the way, I talk a lot of shit about Protestants on this show. I actually love Protestants. I had Protestants and Catholics arguing in my chat the other day, which made me so happy. So it's like, I love the Protestants. I like you guys, actually, because you guys are, because I decide if you're against human sacrifice, then you're on my team. If you're pro human sacrifice, you're not on my team. I love my, conservative Protestant, brothers and sisters. What I really struggle with is like, I have so much more smoke for progressive Christians than I do for atheists. Atheists, I totally understand, because I think that's like the most logical conclusion you could come to if you just look at reality. I think atheism is super logical, so I don't fault atheists at all. I used to be an atheist, so I totally get where they're coming from. Progressive Christians, I cannot fucking stand. The people who are like, I actually follow the teachings of Jesus, and actually St. Paul was very misogynistic. Like, cease your heresy. Cease now. Cease your heresy before I get active. This is crazy. I hate that. I hate that so much more. We can argue about like transubstantiation in the Eucharist fucking later. Like, that's fine. We can settle all that when the human sacrifice is over. But right now we've got like, progressive Christians who make it part of their like fucking like rainbow creed that fucking abortion is a human right. And it's like, all right, well, that's maybe not. That's maybe not scripturally supported. That sounds like you just made it up just now, is what it sounds like. I don't think that's in the Bible. I don't think that's good. I have so much more smoke that for progressive Christians who are like, I follow the actual teachings of Jesus. Anytime you hear somebody say that, by the way, everything they're about to say is complete bullshit. I follow the actual teachings of Jesus. According to who? According to you and your fucking 7th grade reading level and what your favorite female pastor said on TikTok. No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear what you think after that. No, thank you. Anyway, this is not a Christian show. Spend too much time on that. This, I assume, a secular audience. Let's see. Who else is in the chat? Men's podcasts and church sermons geared towards men have the same thing in common. Yeah. Yeah, basically, it's a lot about calling out behavior, which is calling out behavior and citing room for improvement. And I think women are broad strokes are less receptive to that kind of messaging. I think men are ready, willing, and able to accept that. Well, the cool thing about accepting that you're the problem is that gives you agency. There's stuff you can do that will make your life better. If you're the problem, then you can take action to move the needle on that. But I think women, they take that personally. If they say you're the problem, they're like, doesn't mean I don't like how that makes me feel. And then they don't do anything because they also, broad strokes, I don't think women think with agency the same way that men do for the most part. So they kind of think of themselves as like the world is supposed to act towards me in a way that I find suitable, versus men think of themselves as like, I'm supposed to act in the world. I don't think so. It's like, so if you tell a woman that it's her fault that her life isn't going the way she wants it to, I think she's gonna, for the most part, women are gonna take that super offensively and not vibe with it. Some women are going to. Women with agency are very, very valuable. If you happen to meet a woman who's an independent thinker, get her pregnant immediately. Don't do that. Actually, that's exaggeration, but something like that. Just make sure she sticks around. Let's see. Watch Your Ex is here. What's up, buddy? Or she's hanging around with a bunch of harpies who have brainwashed, hate single women who try to give other women relationship advice. Yeah, that happens a lot. And women, I do think women hate seeing each other happy, and so single women will try to keep their friends single, to try to keep the party going. That's happened to me on numerous occasions, where you have a relationship with a woman who has a lot of single friends, and then they start to undermine it. That's okay. I mean, that's something to watch out for as you're picking the people you want to hang out with. Check out the kind of company that they keep. Which is, by the way, these problems are mostly avoidable. By the way, it's just this is stuff that you can pretty much iron out in the selection phase. It's weird when you get over an idea you have invested in, like marriage. It feels monumentally like an accomplishment, but then you realize it does little to address the underlying issues, such as loneliness. Yeah, a lot of people are in bad marriages, man. That doesn't solve the problem. If you never learn how to connect with people, then getting married isn't going to fix that. Learning to connect with people is extremely, extremely, extremely difficult, by itself, especially in our society now, where most people are interfacing through the world through the phone. Even myself, I don't like leaving my fucking room. I have to leave my room really, because thank God I do stand up, or I would never leave my house. I swear to God, I would stay here and talk to you people, and I have to do stand up, because so that requires me to leave my house and go to places that I would never ordinarily go, where things are crowded and noisy and loud, and there's people everywhere, and I have to meet people and interact with people. And I fucking hate doing that. I like this. This is my preferred method of interacting with people, where you guys are chatting and I'm saying things, and then I can respond to the chats. That is my preferred method of interacting with people. I like this. And I also don't get to leave my house. And then I can turn this off, and I can go fucking somewhere else, and just just immediately, I can just immediately go from this to walk to my fridge, get a drink that I like out of my fridge, not have to fucking do anything, not have to worry about any of this bullshit. I hate being out in front of people, but I have to. And I'm glad that I do stand up, because that forces me to talk to people. And I'm always glad I did. That's the other thing too, is I'm always glad I did talk to people. And I'm always happy about the things that I learn as a result of the conversations that I have. It makes me a better person, and it gives me stuff to write about. And I'm always glad when I go out, but I fucking hate going out. And it is pulling teeth to get me to go out. I fucking hate going out. I hate it. I hate going out. What was I even talking about? Let's see. It doesn't answer what you will do in regards to dating. Yeah. As soon as you quit investing, you have to endure the pain. You keep investing in dead ideas to avoid the emotional outcomes. Keep buying those magic cards instead of accepting that it probably won't be the best use of your resources. Yeah. I'd rather be lonely and alone than in a lonely relationship. Yeah, that's true. Leave my house. What's that? Creator and anti-liberal, friend of the channel. She gets it. Never leaving the house is the way to go. No, to address Watcher X has a good point here. I'd rather be lonely and alone than in a lonely relationship. It's like, yeah, being in a lonely relationship fucking sucks. And I think, okay, so I think it would be easier to filter through people if we weren't fucking everybody. I think that's what's fucking people up, is like all the like horniness in the middle. Like if we weren't just like fucking everybody, it would be easier to like be like, oh, this person's personality is terrible, and then fucking like bail on them. I think once you start fucking people, it confuses your brain. So, and there are people who are like vaguely palatable, I'm told. I don't know who, but I'm told there are people who are like palatable. I think the issue is that I don't know. This might be true. This might be less true. I think once you get to your 30s, everybody's single for a fucking reason. That's something I don't think we want to talk about. It's just like by the time you get to this point, it's like everybody's got fucking baggage. So you just got to deal with that. Like nobody's gotten through the fucking minefield. We were the generation where they experimented with Tinder on us. Like they didn't know what that was going to do. They got it like every fucking millennial chick, got on hormonal birth control at like 15. And then by the time they were like, 25, they fucking dropped Tinder on them. And that, they just didn't know what that was going to do. Like Tinder and Instagram and fucking like iPhones in general, just like all of it. They didn't fucking know what that was going to do. And then they also like the millennial women in particular were like they've had like a slow drip of like girl boss feminist propaganda, from the time they were very young. So they've been like maximally like warped by that shit. So now that's why there's so many of them, that are single and unpalatable. I think here's the thing, everybody, myself included, you just got to embrace what the reason is that you're single. Just be like, this is it. This is what I did. This is where I fucked up. And you just embrace it and you just hug it like a porcupine. And it's just like, this is just how it is. And then you just fucking, deal with it. I think everybody too, a lot of people that I meet are really focused on what they're going to get out of a relationship, but they have a hard time, they have a hard time thinking about what they offer other people. Like the focus is very much on, what am I going to get out of this? And like, it's just the wrong way to think about it. Also, we teach people to date based on vibes in this culture too, which is a horrible idea. It's horrible to pick people based on vibes. These people could like, that's just like a dog shit way to, approach stuff. You gotta, you gotta ask, you gotta figure out if like, this is why fucking people's a bad idea, by the way. Cause like anybody you're fucking, the vibes are good, Oh man. Full Metal Date is here. The reason I'm single is a combination of trust issues and social anxiety. Yeah, dude. So this is what I actually, so this is tricky, but like, I got it. So getting hurt just isn't that bad after a while. And it's usually worth it for the information that you gain. So it's like, this is what I would say is like, it's not wrong to feel fearful, but just feel the fear and do it anyway. Just go out there and like, it's like, yeah, it's scary to trust people. And you might trust people that you shouldn't have trusted, but that's okay. It's going to feel fucking awesome. Yeah, it's going to feel fucking awesome once you're done and you'll learn lessons. If the fucking is good, then the vibes are good. Hell, yeah, that is kind of how it goes. That's why it's a bad idea to fuck people, because no matter what the vibes are, you're just gonna like, it's so easy to just be like, yeah, she has a personality disorder, but she's really trying. She's doing her best. That you just overlook the shit because you guys are fucking. People will use that to like paper over, every incompatibility in a relationship if the fucking is popping. So like, don't do that. It's so much easier. It's so much easier to like figure out who people are if you're not actively smushing them. Pro tip. This pro tip for those of you that don't know that. I mean, I don't know a lot. I don't know if this is a problem that my audience actually has to face. I think like the other thing too is like, I don't know actually, like I truly don't know how people are supposed to meet each other now. For like 90% of people, like it's stupid easy for me because I do stand up. So it's like stupid easy. But I think for most people, like if you aren't regularly in front of like lots of people, like how are people like meeting people now? Like I've been to like I'm like, I live in Vegas, which is very much a nightlife city. So I see like nightlife periodically, but it just like does not feel like it was as poppin' as I remember like pre-COVID. I lived in Southern California. It felt like nightlife in San Diego at that point was pretty poppin'. And it just like, I don't know. I go out and people look bored. Nobody looks like they're having a good time. I mean, a little bit people do because they're on vacation. The people on vacation look like they're having a good time, but mostly people look bored. They look kind of zonked out, kind of overstimulated. I see a lot of people just like they're out in one of the most exciting cities in the world and they're staring at their phones, which is crazy. Pro tip or just the tip? Okay. All right. No puns. Keep your puns to yourself, sweetheart. Green-haired anti-liberal friend of the channel. Animal nature is to procreate, so I don't fault folks on that really. But for me, I'm building my foundation unconventionally. Plus, my ex got locked up, which is what happened for me. I fucking love my audience, bro. But yeah, I don't advocate dating incarcerated women, but I do advocate building up your foundation unconventionally. I don't think conventional pathways are a winnable game. Every time I always tell people, like, if you find yourself playing an unwinnable game, stop playing. The first thing you can do is stop playing. If you find yourself going down the wrong path, the number one thing you can do is change direction. Because anything you do that's not the wrong path is going to be better than going further down the wrong path. And it's hard with like sunk cost fallacy and all that, especially in today's society. It's like, yeah, you put in this many years. If you put in more years, you'll get none of that shit is real. None of that shit is real. What's real is like, like building your own shit, making your own shit, building something that you have control over. That's real. That's real. But like these conventional pathways to success have been severely undermined and will continue to be so in the future. So I don't think the traditional pathways are a smart way to buy into society anymore. I think you should just buy your own shit. If I could time travel, I wouldn't want any of my relationships over again. Game over, man. Game over. RIP. Oh man. Yeah, that's true. I would say I was thinking about this today. I think I learned something from all of my relationships, but I think especially when I started out, I was so retarded about relationships that I just like didn't know anything. I was like, I think just like not knowing stuff is a real significant impediment to people being able to form stable relationships at this point. People just like not knowing stuff. And I think this is downstream of undermining the family, of like taking kids out of the home and putting them in school for like 6 to 8 hours a day, and then having the parents at work for 8 hours a day, and fucking latchkey kids, and fucking like the idea. It used to be like you hung out with your family all the time. In like the Middle Ages, if you were a dirt farming peasant, you would be hanging out with your family all the time, and your extended family would live like right over the hill. Like, so you'd be hanging out with like your whole family unit. You'd be a village of like a few hundred people, like the fucking Shire, you know? So you're just like around people all the time, and you were like part of a community. And the idea that like your parents don't understand me is such like a modern late 20th century thing that comes from kids being out of school, being at school all day, parents being at work all day, and like families not hanging out with each other. Like, and I think from that, you get us like not really knowing how to form relationships with each other. And from that, you get a bunch of people who are, you know, chronic loners. And that's what we have is we have a society full of loners. It used to be like a loner was like a weird guy, like a rebel without a cause. Like it was a weird guy. Loners were like unusual. It's like not anymore. Now fucking everybody's loners now. You realize that everybody's a fucking loner, which is my audience is full of loners, by the way. And I myself am a loner. So, like every single one of you motherfuckers, I guarantee it, is on some level some kind of loner. And that's okay, by the way. That's awesome. But I think this is one thing I've noticed about the explosion of live streaming. When I first got into this, like my thought was that live streaming was like talk radio. I thought it was like, you know, Rush Limbaugh or something like that, like what my dad used to listen to in the car. It's not what this is. I think live streaming is about building a community, and like people, the way people interact in the chat, the way people contribute to the show, like they're trying to hang out. They're not there, you know, this isn't just like, you know, tuning into a radio show. It's not the same thing. It's like people are trying to hang out. You know, they're trying to, you know, contribute. They're trying to be a part of a community. And that's, you know, what I've seen with this show and with my other show, Touch Grass, and with like other people's shows who've built significant communities. It seems like people are, you know, invested. And I think that's because we've gotten rid of third spaces. We've made it so people don't feel like as invested in their work as they used to. We've just gotten rid of all this community buy-in. And a lot of us live in like urban areas where we're surrounded by people, but they're all strangers. That's a weird way to live. That's not traditionally how humans have existed in the world, where you're surrounded by people and you don't really know any of them. That's fucking weird. And you're surrounded by people who have completely different history than you. Like if you're in a place like Vegas, you know, I'm in a diverse major metro. So there's a lot of different kinds of people who are all different and don't have anything really in common with me, except for that we live in Vegas. And sometimes we don't even speak the same language. And it's like, yeah, it feels super fucking isolating. So to come to a place like, you know, like to come to a live stream where people are bonding over liking the same stuff or being interested in the same stuff or sharing the same values or whatever is kind of badass to be able to do that online. Like that's something that wouldn't have been possible at previous moments of history. Let's see who else is in the chat. I love the justifications people try to sell me. Even heroin addicts have girlfriends. Even guys in prison have girlfriends. Past, yeah, and that's not a good justification. I agree with you on that, because like as far as like normal guys forming stable relationships, that is a significant challenge right now. But like, you know, people who are kind of like reckless and impulsive can form unstable relationships. Even they can form unstable relationships that stay together for a long time too, because dick is a hell of a drug. And once you're on that like addict codependent like fucking roller coaster, it's very hard to get off, right? So yeah, so that's not, you know, they don't have relationships that you would envy. If you're like a normal guy who wants to have a stable relationship with a normal woman, that's going to be really hard to do now for a lot of reasons. Not least of which is that society has basically made it a criminal offense to talk to a woman you do not know. Which, by the way, that's the only ones you can have sex with. Are the ones you don't like. If nobody you know is fucking you, the only ones you can date, right? Nobody you know is dating you. The only ones you can date are the ones you don't know yet. And that's, for a society that talks about how we shouldn't shame anyone ever for anything, they sure shamed the fuck out of normal flirting and hitting on people. And that's like the one. That's why I say like the only way to actually like meet someone in today's society is you have to be willing to violate social boundaries. It sucks, but that's just how it is, because there's a social boundary that says, a really strictly enforced social boundary that says, hey, talking to people you don't know is rude. And everyone knows that's a stupid fucking rule. So if it's a stupid fucking rule and everybody knows it, then just fucking break the rule. Talk to people. Don't be rude, but like fucking talk. Don't be like, hey, what it tastes like, shawty. But like, I bet them feet smell good. Don't say that. But like, no one is going to send you to jail for talking about the weather. And I guarantee you there are normal chicks. They're just not the loud ones. There are normal chicks. They're just not the loud ones. And the normal chicks want this. They want off the ride too. As I talk to a lot of women. So there are definitely plenty of crazy ones, but there's enough that take me aside and they're like, hey, I think everything you're saying is right. Keep it up. Like, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want the sisterhood to come down on me, but Theo, you're right. I talk to enough women that I know they're out there. It's just they're scared of the sisterhood, so they keep quiet. So you just got to like make yourself a safe person and they will find you. But that requires you being like comfortable taking on some of the social risks. And I understand why guys are like, no, I'm not taking any more social risks. I took social risks. I've been punished for it. I hate it. I'm not doing it anymore. I understand why guys feel that way. I am saying that there's like good stuff on the other side of taking social risks. It's there. So if you want the good stuff, you have to tolerate the risk too. Which is a huge bummer. I hate that. I'm really talking to myself in the mirror. Although I do have a really high tolerance for social risk and I do take a lot of social risks. It's like I have to take even more in order to get the things I want out of life, which is a huge bummer. The problem I see for guys is that they are afraid to talk or put in the work to get the girl they may be interested in. Yeah, that's what Vagabond's getting at here is like you can't get around taking social risk. And I understand that the social risk is really significant now, and I get that. But it's also a lot of that is just self-imposed limitation. Like it sucks because it's like you're panhandling for gold in like the 1840s in San Francisco after all the good gold is already gone. So you're doing a lot more work for a lot less reward. And I get that. And that sucks. But the reward is still worth it, actually, assuming you can find one. But you just got to be super... Fuck, dude. I'm not shitting on you. It is a lot of work. And I know I'm in the streets too. So I get it. It is a lot of fucking work. I'm not shitting on that at all. Like it is. And it's way more work. And it's frustrating talking to older generations because they have no concept about how the game has changed. They have no idea the extent to which what we're doing is different than what they had to do. They just don't have any real appreciation for that. And I'd say Gen Z has it worse than millennials too. I would say that. And I think Gen Alpha is going to have an even harder time. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, that has yet to... Gen Z's already in really rough shape. As far as that goes. But all the women I've dated really wanted my babies for some reason. I don't know why. LOL. Classic Nate chat. Let's see. Yeah. How dare you? I am a social butterfly. You are not. Let's see. Yeah, the internet changed that family dynamic, village dynamic. Yeah, it sure did. Hold on, people are responding. I think it was actually the anti-bullying, anti-shaming, and Me Too movement is what changed everything. Internet just amplified it. Yeah, and all those could not have taken off the way that they did without internet amplification. I think you're right. And then a lot of these internet campaigns, it's like, I think it was like, oh, fuck. Okay. It's like, because you got to understand, like during that period of like you know, the Me Too movement and turbo feminism, stuff like that, like every man was getting yelled at through their phones and by the women in their actual lives. We're like, oh, fuck, is this really how y'all feel? Okay, then. You know, it was crazy. But the thing about the Me Too movement that was crazy is like the only men who responded to that were the men who care what women think. So the guys who don't give a fuck about women just kept right on being horrible. It was only the guys who actually like women that stopped approaching women, which is stupid, horrible. Yeah. Let's see. Theo told me I can break rules. I'm about to drop the N word. No, Weasel, no. Wait. Wait. Oh, man. Weasel, thanks for being here, bro. Friend of the show. Yeah, it's like it's hard because the internet definitely lies to people about how things are. It's super front. Oh, here's one. Okay, this is a good transition for that. I wanted to show you guys this. So this is another thing that's targeted at women. Hold on.
We should stop marrying men, according to the data. This professor says we're dating all wrong, that we're
Completely wrong. Go ahead.
women are interviewing men as boyfriends rather than life partners. This leaves us stuck with junior employees of the household rather than co-CEOs. Corinne Lowe used to be married to a man. Now she's married to a woman. After her divorce, she crunched the numbers and decided that it would be more efficient to only date women. She said that it was too time intensive to find a male partner who could be this co-CEO of a household. As a professor at Wharton, she's encouraging women to think like an economist when it comes to picking the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. We should see dating as a market, marriage as a contract, and children as a public good. Corinne says the rise of the trad wife movement can be explained by the lean-in era. This sent the message that motherhood was just an inconvenience to our careers. Instead, we should see our time as having almost economic value, which we should spend carefully. This is an economist's evidence-based approach to happiness. We should stop.
God damn it. So, okay. So this is what I'm saying. This is what women are seeing. So when you interact with them and it's horrible and you're like, why is she so unpalatable? That's what she's seeing. Yeah. They're only Strider says, notice they don't advocate for men marrying men for the same reason. Yeah, they literally don't care at all about men. Men exist only to serve women. And if they're not performing that function, then there's no reason to even discuss them. They don't think of men as people. Yeah. And by the way, like, it's not just like men who feel this. It's like, even if you talk to guys who are like 12, 13, 14, like guys who are very, very young, they get this sense that men are not needed or wanted or as good as what, like, this is coming straight through the education system too. Like, this has downstream consequences, you know, and the amount of resentment that is built up in men because of this is significant. And it, like, I mean, we have yet to see, but like, I think this is going to have significant consequences society wide. But like, yeah, you got to keep this in mind. Like, when you deal with women and they behave in a way that's like completely unpalatable, or they believe things that are seemingly completely disconnected from reality, it's like, that's what their phone is telling them. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's what their phone is telling them. And it's all of society is garbage, and it's all your fucking fault because you're a fucking man. Like, that's what's happening. And then if you try to tell them, like, hey, your phone is lying to you, reality doesn't work the way you think it does, they're going to think you're, like, stupid or insecure or have a little dick or you're hitting on them or whatever. They're going to go to absolutely everything except, or that you're misogynistic or you have mommy issues. I know. I've had hundreds of these conversations. And they all play out basically along the same lines. Like you're some sort of like evil patriarchal oppressor who's trying to dim my shine because I'm a magical fairy unicorn princess. And if you don't like it, you're just gaslighting me. And it's like, how am I supposed to interact with you on that basis? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I think what I do now, if I encounter like too much hostility, is I'm just like, thanks, sweetheart. You seem great. Be blessed. Take care. And I keep it pushing. But I think a lot of women who are acting that way, this is what's fucked up, is a lot of women who are acting that way because they want someone to tame them. That's what they want. But they don't know that they want that, and they don't know how to get it. And so they struggle to express what they want because there's what society tells them they should want, and then what they actually desire. So you hear this where women are like, I want a man who looks like he votes Republican, but it actually votes Democrat. And it just doesn't happen because those beliefs go along with a certain lifestyle, and conservative beliefs go along with a certain lifestyle. And the fact is that like men who are leftists tend to be like lazy and self-involved and narcissistic and generally, unpalatable to women. They just don't like men who are like that, just like doughy and weak. Weasel, I've been psychoanalyzing Theo since I've met him. He just doesn't know it yet. Results thus far. Try again later. Oh, man. Yeah, dude. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I do wonder. I do wonder what. I don't know if there's like a good solution for any of this. This is just, this is just things that I notice when I'm going out and talking to people. As people are all generally unhappy, but as far as I know, people think it's like a lot of people are like pissed at like late stage capitalism or whatever. Like they're pretty upset about that. I don't think there's enough appreciation for the benefits that have been created in our society, or how many good things there are, or how awesome America is as like a place to live, and how in order to maintain it and demonstrate our gratitude, the best thing we could do to honor the work of previous generations is to create future generations and create a stable society that we could actually all live in and enjoy. That would be cool, right? But that's not. People are so focused on jerking off and pursuing their own like short-term like dopamine surges that they don't even think about that. It doesn't even occur to them that they owe a debt of gratitude to the people who came before them, who created the society that was so prosperous they could spend all day jerking off and things wouldn't fall apart. That's what's crazy to me, is like, I don't know. We're so decadent and stupid and illiterate and rude, and social standards have just been completely abandoned. And it's just all about me. That's gross. It's gross. And I can't point it out because I'm judgmental if I do. It's like, no, fuck you. Anyway. Yeah, but it's fun. It's been good. I got one more of these that I'm gonna do, and then maybe we'll farm some clips from that. Actually, I got a couple more of these I could do. Let's see. We'll just see how it gone. We'll kind of watch the viewership. Here's one I saw recently. Hold on. Pew. I actually wanted to.
My son's teacher is a raging feminist, and I, for one, am thrilled because raising a feminist son is a social responsibility. And
so, for those of you following along, this woman has a son, and her son's teacher is a feminist, and she's very excited about it. So we're gonna find out what that means together. You guys ready? Let's do it.
it takes a village, and she's in mine. How do I know? Because yesterday we went into his classroom to teach a cultural lesson because she's created such an inclusive environment. And to thank us, she had each child write us a note, which is instilling gratitude. Like, she's incredible. Hers is right here on the front. Mrs. and Mr. Desai goes on to thank us. Then each following letter, Mrs. and Mr. Desai, Mrs. and Mr. Desai, Dear Mrs. and Mr. Desai, Dear Mrs. and Mr. Desai. Here's the thing, I live for small intentional acts of microfeminism.
Oh boy, she sounds great, doesn't she? Can you imagine having to make love to this woman's frigid hole? you try to spin on it and it just it's like dry ice. When it hits, it's just frigid. It's a frigid, inhospitable wasteland. Oh. Anyway, Nate, she sounds like the know-it-all kid from the Polar Express. Good reference, buddy. Oh, man.
And placing Mrs. before Mr. is a small intentional act of microfeminism. And I am overjoyed to know that instilling lessons of gender equity is not a job that I have to do alone. At least not.
If you look carefully, you'll notice that her forehead doesn't move. That's because of Botox. Botox, kids, not even once. Full Metal Nate asking the real questions. Why is she wearing a robe? Put on some clothes, you harlot. Based? Bringing back slut shaming. We love it. Go ahead.
This year. I love her. And that's when I realized she's a feminist. My son's teacher is a raging feminist.
Okay. And she's excited about that. Oh, horrible. Just horrible. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, this is what we're up against in the school system. Like, look, if you want to put your children in public school or even, frankly, Catholic school, if you want to put them in school, that's fine. You don't want to homeschool them, that's fine. But like, bro, just be realistic about the fact that's what you're fucking up against. It's a bunch of millennials with humanities degrees. That's who all of the teachers are. And they're all retarded. They're people who are too stupid to make it in other industries. Okay, they're ideologically motivated. This woman probably went into teaching intentionally because she wanted to spread the doctrine of feminism. She did it because she wanted to have feminism in the classroom. She wanted to elevate the girls and she wanted to put down the boys. She wanted the boys to feel bad about themselves. She wanted the boys to be smaller, to be less brave, to be less courageous, to be weepier. Right. She doesn't want strong men because she fears and, in fact, despises masculinity because she herself is underfathered. This is what happens when it's a resistance against boundaries and a response to, fatherlessness. And it's not good. This school system is fucking horrible. This does horrible things to, like I said, if you like listen to, boys now, they either absolutely hate themselves or they're just like burning with anger and resentment. And there's very little in between. And this attitude is like, this is why millennial men are so fucked up, by the way, is it's downstream of this. And for the generation coming up now, it's for Gen Z, it was even worse. And for the generation coming up now, Gen Alpha, it's even worse for them. I'm telling you, dude, this shit is not good psychologically. Let me pull up this other video. This is something, actually, I didn't even find this. Somebody sent this to me. So shout out to the viewer who sent this to me. Shout out to the 4%. We love you guys. Let's pull this up and then I'm going to refresh it. Okay, because it's not the commentary.
Sorry, now I'll pay for all your...
All right, it's not the commentary part that's relevant. Basically, this guy is walking up to this guy and it's like, hey, if your son could do 10 push-ups, I'll pay for all your groceries. The important part's not the commentary. The important part, watch how the son reacts to this.
Groceries.
Can you do 10 push-ups? Let's go try.
Let's give it a shot. Come on.
I know you're crying, but this is gonna make you stronger. Come on.
Let's go. Push-ups.
Nope. 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 That kid is way too old to be melting down like that. That kid's too old to be in the fucking cart. You know? That kid's too old to not be able to do 10 push-ups too. That kid is like fat, slack-jawed, and useless, overmothered, underfathered. I'm making a lot of judgments from it, like a short video clip. But the point is, this guy's like not a good sign about the future. The fact that you have a child who at that big age is melting down. And like, I remember when I was younger, you know, being kind of undersized and having to work really hard to be able to do like push-ups and stuff like that. Like, I would have jumped at the opportunity to do something like that at that age. I would have jumped at the opportunity to get recognition at that age. That would have been a cool thing to do. You know, it would have been a great way to get, you know, parental approval and stuff like that. What a cool opportunity. Right. And just immediately going to like melting down like a 4-year-old. Like a little kid, like a toddler meltdown. Here's the thing. I know this is like an isolated piece of video, and I know this is only one child, but like, this is a horrible sign about things to come. This is a horrible sign in terms of the way that child thinks about challenges and thinks about opportunities, right? This is not good. Why is it? First of all, people are asking the right question. I'm so glad we have the chat here. Wow, what the hell? First thought was wondering why he was in the cart. Yes, exactly. Why is a child that big not just walking around? You know, I'd be like, Java, give me 10, you little shit. So this is somebody who had male role models growing up. You can tell. Yeah, it's like, but this is the problem. Women demonize strength and complain when men don't have it anymore, and they still think they should be in charge. Yeah, and this is downstream of the brainwashing that we talked about. It's like the reason it's good for the elites who rule us is, first of all, it's good for men and women to fight. Because if men and women are in conflict with each other and they're not forming strong families, then that means they're going to be more selfish for longer. And people with families are much more willing to, you know, they're much more willing to stand up for what's right, I think, you know, because the future has to be good. I think they're thinking about the future, but it's like, but the other thing too is like people who actually fight in conflicts. It's young men, especially young men who are like childless and have zero economic opportunities. Those guys are very, 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 very willing to fight. So I think that's one of the things I think with like pornography, with video games, with demonizing any kind of strength, with trying to train boys to be as weak and immature and doughy and slack-jawed as and useless as you possibly can, basically making them a bunch of like childlike gooners who are like adult, you know, man children with no meaningful strength or accomplishment or responsibility, and all of their accomplishments happened in the context of video games. So they didn't do anything in the real world. They don't have anything. They don't have a wife. They don't have anything that, you know, women find desirable. You know, they don't have anything to offer their communities. Like, those guys are easy to control because it's just like, just make sure as long as they're going to be happy, as long as they still have their porn and their video games and their fast food, they're going to be happy. But then that's, I think, why I think that like training like men to be weak is intentional. And I think training, you know, the women to be confrontational and super difficult and to susceptible to brainwashing. It's crazy. The Soviet Union would have loved to have this kind of brainwashing technology. The fact that we're addicted to the thing that we receive our propaganda from. We actually are addicted to it. Like, it gives us dopamine to consume our propaganda. How crazy is that? That's insane. Like, we're all addicted to the thing that we receive our propaganda from. And I think women are particularly susceptible to the propaganda. So I know that like benefits the, you know, the people who rule us to have all of the young men like pacified and weak and useless. but it makes everyone unhappy. It's also like it's boys who are underfathered become this way, but also boys who are overmothered become this way. We can't leave out as we talk about the underfathering, we can't forget to talk about the overmothering. Because I think that's a big problem with our society now, is like people are in general, the whole society suffers from too much mothering. I realized this the other day. We have an HR department if the workplace gets too rowdy, but we don't have anywhere to go for the men to go when the workplace is a little too much like a kindergarten. Like, hey, can we get a titty calendar in the break room? Maybe just like a beer cooler. Can we do something? Can we make this slightly more like a frat house and slightly less like a kindergarten? Is that cool? Can we just have like a little more sexual harassment? I'm saying we need an HR department and an anti-HR department that the men can report to. Just like, hey, Jennifer has a sweet rack and I can't say anything about it. What's going on with that? Like, I wish they had a place. I wish the men had a place to complain when the women were like ruining the fun. You know, the fun stuff that's what makes work palatable. I think that's like it didn't used to suck this much when there was like sexual harassment and like you could be drunk at work and stuff. It used to be a lot more fun. Now it sucks. Now what's crazy is like nobody wanted to get rid of all the sexual harassment. You wanted the guys you didn't like to stop sexually harassing you. You didn't want, but now everybody did. Now there's no sexual harassment for anyone. So even the parts that were fun are gone. That's fucked up. You did that. So we can't undo it. We can't unfuck that pony. We gotta gradually reintroduce sexual harassment to the workplace. Like it's a rare species of extinct wolf. Anyway. Yeah, and then the dad picking him up instead of him getting out himself. Yeah, dude. Not good. Theo didn't question that the kid being in the shopping cart, as he's the same height and he'd ride in the basket if he had a woman to push him around too. Mind your business, Weasel. Mind your business. What I'm into is between me and Jesus. Mind your business. All of this absolutely came from the Soviet Union. All of this is Marxist social engineering deliberately exported to the West. None of the feminist nonsense on TikTok exists in the East. Yeah, that's true too. It does feel like deliberate. Hey, my work gives us Hooters calendars. God bless it. So work locker room. Yeah. Or man cave department. Yes. Something where it's like, hey, could we make things a little sluttier in here? Could we just make things a little more palatable for men and not so much, making it into a kindergarten just so that like women are comfortable. Women's comfortable. Women like that's the thing is if you're just trying to make women happy, it's going to be a constant state of moving the goalpost because women are never happy. It actually doesn't matter what the situation is or how good it is. Women are going to find a way to complain about it. It literally doesn't matter. It could be anything. They're just gonna complain the whole time. So there's not actually a point in trying to make them happy. So I would say give up on that dream. It's just never going to happen. So let's see. Hold on. Let's check in the Rumble chat because I always forget to check the Rumble chat. So for those of you watching on Rumble, we love our Rumble viewers. The problem is this streaming software does not show. There we go. No Rumble chat. But yeah, I can't see the fucking Rumble chat with this. But that's fine. Let's see. My work just sent out surveys and your suggestions are giving me all sorts of ideas. Good. We still skill issue. Shut up. You don't know anything. That's good. Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, you should make suggestions at your workplaces. Just be like, hey, could we get some more titties in here? Why not? Right? Here's the thing. I'm telling you, nobody wanted to get rid of all the sexual harassment. That was never the goal. They were just trying to get rid of the sexual harassment. It's the same thing with like don't approach me. It's like they still wanted hot guys to approach them, They just didn't want like schlubby guys to approach them. You know? And even then, they like it when schlubby guys approach them because women love turning down schlubby guys. It's their favorite thing. It's just like a huge boost to their ego. It's like, no, thank ya. Ain't with my girls. They love that. It's like, oh my God, did you see that guy? He was so thirsty. I'm so hot. And then they feel good about themselves. So that, I mean, obviously they would prefer, like, sometimes they'll turn down like guys they're actually attracted to just because like they get more points from like turning them down than they would from hooking up with them. Yeah. It's like, I'm just like on my journey. And basically let's, and so, nobody, like, it used to be sexual harassment was what made the workplace palatable. I feel bad. I feel bad for women, actually, because it's like, 'cause that's why they're so bored at work now, is because nobody's harassing them. That's the problem. We got rid of it. That's the issue. That's why they're having such a hard time. I'm telling you. That was the reason they were in the office, and now we're making them do actual work. It feels like a horrible bait and switch. All the men are at home smoking pot and playing video games. All the women are in corporate America. This feels like a horrible bait and switch. It's crazy. And women with like legit jobs fuck guys with zero economic prospects. Ask me how I know, by the way. Ask me how I know. Dude, I'm telling you, we have a completely backward society that's basically optimized to make women miserable. You could not optimize it more to make women miserable if you did it deliberately. It's basically because if you get rid of all the like strong, capable men, you're just getting rid of like everything women like. Women like strong, capable men. That's pretty much all they like, actually. Yeah, that's it. And that's the only thing that like makes them happy across a long enough time span is like a guy that they view as strong and capable. So hold on, the chat's yelling at me. I have to cover this. I said that basically on Twitter today. Bring back booth babes by executive order. Not close, but close enough. Oh well. Yeah, I agree. Stop feeling bad for women. I can't help it. I can't help it. It actually, no, it sucks. I actually do like women. I wish I didn't. I wish I hated women as much as people say I hate women. I really do. I wish I didn't actually like women because it's like bad. Because I have to be like, hey, I always have to like stand up for them. And it's so lame to stand up for women now because they don't deserve it. Like they manifestly, like if it's going based on behavior, they don't deserve it. They do not deserve to be caped for the way that I cape for them. But I'm doing it because of like principles of human dignity, which exist independent of whether the individual woman deserves it or not. So that's why I always say is like the way I act towards women is based on the society I want to live in, not based on the individual woman I'm dealing with. And so because of that, you know, you're just getting taken advantage of a lot because like it's very dog eat dog now. And a lot of women are operating solely out of like personal self-interest and they're not appealing to any kind of like higher principles. And that's a huge bummer. But I want to live in a society that's based on higher principles. So I have to act as if I have higher principles, if that's the kind of society I want to bring about. And unfortunately, that means getting fucked over a lot. Sluts on the internet calling themselves hot gives me the ick. Yeah, dude, who you telling, bro? That is such a giant pain in the ass. I hate that shit, dude. I hate that shit. How do you know, Theo? Yes, how, Theo? Hey, don't mind your business. Mind your business. I wish you do too. Women are terrible. No. You're 4% or more misogynistic than you are. That's true. Shout out to the 4%. I love you guys. This was explained to me recently. It was like why women hate women so much more passionately than like a man can hate a woman. And it was like The woman was like, because I don't want to fuck them, Theo. So there's like no benefit. They do all the nasty shit that they do. And also women in general are nice to me in a way that they are not nice to each other. So most of my interactions with women are really good. Like when women interact with me, they're generally like on their best behavior. They're doing the best they can. Like they want to be like pleasant and likable, and they treat me good. You know, which I understand is not the experience for most men. It's the experience for virtually no women. So for women, there's like no upside to hanging out with other women because they're just like shitty to each other. They're just trying to sabotage each other. There's not, you know, they don't want to fuck them. So they're like, to which I would say, have you tried? Got tried at least 3 times to know if it's right for you. Because the first time could have just been a bad experience. Second time could have been a fluke. The third time, now you've got a pattern. So I always recommend that you know, women try hooking up with other women at least 3 times. Pro tip. But that's science. That's not even me saying that. So make out with a girl today. All right. That's not real advice. I mean, well, it depends. It might be. It depends on what you look like, to be honest. No, not their best behavior. They are manipulating and pretending in front of you. Would you just let me be happy? Can you just let me be happy for 2 fucking seconds, please? Can you just like let me have this? I just don't want the world to be as bad as it is. Is that so bad? I just want to believe that there are good things about people. Oh man. Well, all right, folks. Well, we've been doing this. We've been cooking on this for like an hour and a half. I'm thinking I want to do more shows, but shorter. That's kind of what I want, the direction I want to go with this. I think I'm going to wrap it up pretty soon. Yeah, we're going to do more shows, but shorter. It's going to be good. Oh, Weasel's here. I'll pass. Women tried with women leads to 3 ways. That's too much work for me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm strongly in favor of 3 ways. To be honest with you, it's more work, but it's like, you know, you get out of it what you put in, and you know, be all that you can be and all that stuff. You know. Anyway, I had to do more of these shows, but shorter. So I'm trying to do like 3 of these a week probably, and it's just going to be just like a stream of consciousness. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully I can get some cool clips out of that. We'll see. Come back again for Touch Grass on Saturday. We'll see if I can get another one of these out by the end of the week. I want to try to do one of these probably like Friday, probably be when it happens. So be on the lookout for that. I'm thinking this may be an afternoon show. We'll see how the views go after I've changed the time. And then, and then come back on Saturday for my panel show, Touch Grass. And I know, if you like, if you want to watch my other show, that's on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hold on, we're talking about threesomes in the chat. I was going to end the show, but now the chat's talking about threesomes, so I have to zoom in. Nah, Weasel, those guys aren't more work. They work on each other while you watch. Let's be honest. Wow, God, very spicy chat. I'm glad we changed the subject. This has been good. I might just hang out now. See what you guys are talking about. You guys are having a great time. All right, folks. This has been rad. Having a good time. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. My name is Theo Snodgrass. I have been the host of Theocracy. I'm a comedian and podcaster out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Please come out here and check me out. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. And that's when you can keep up with all the cool stuff I'm doing. I have a bunch of footage that needs to get processed and released. So there's a bunch of stuff that I have not put out yet that's going to be coming out. I'm also going to be shooting a crowd work show pretty soon. Be going on the road again early part of next year. So if you want to keep in touch with all of that and keep in touch with everything I'm doing, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube. That's the best place you can keep track of me. All right. So please enjoy the intro to my other show as the outro to this show. Thank you very much.
grass for the good? Well, look at my grass. No. Look at that grass.
Are we looking at ours as cat now?
Yes.
That
Sorry,
way?
I didn't hear a damn thing you said.
All right.
And cause I was a gazillionaire and I like building so much, I cut that price for free.
The species is dying, the birth rate is plummeting, women are chopped. But yeah, you know what? Get a fucking cat.
I know even more about grass.